Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Food School Smarter, Stronger, Leaner podcast on a mission to inspire a world where food makes us better. Today, guys, we are focusing on one of the nutrients of concern, basically a nutrient that a lot of people statistically are deficient in. And it is a very important nutrient. It's folate. Also known as folic acid in supplements. In foods, it's folate. In supplements, it's folic acid. Also, it's B9 vitamin. And folate is not just important for pregnant women that are advised emphatically to supplement with it. Otherwise, there can be birth defects in the kid, and it can endanger future kid life. Folate is also important, especially important for kids, for teenagers, people that are maturing and growing and still developing. But it is especially important, just means that they need more of it, and it really can screw them up for life if they don't get it. But it is also important for adults. Every day in our life, folate is important. That's why it is essential. And we will talk about why it's important. But before that, guys, it's the beginning of school year. A lot of you might have kids or nephews or grandkids. And this time of the year, you're probably thinking more of them because at the beginning of school year and, they're beginning, they're learning, they're developing, there is more focus on that. But understand that, these guys, that nutrition is that thing that will influence the development of potential in our kids in future generations. So we cannot say how a kid could be if he had the best conditions possible, right? We have genetics, like kids have genetics, but in order to activate those genetics, the potential in them, the environment needs to be supportive of that. And environment, not just education, not just support from teachers, parents, and relatives, not just peer group, but environment also means the way their lifestyle is set up, like how they sleep, how active they are, how much support they feel in their family and among their peers. And also nutrition is a huge part of it. Like if our certain set of genes has certain potential, but it doesn't have the nutrients required to express that potential. A simple example, a kid has tall parents and his genetics, he is supposed to grow tall. But guys, if he's not getting enough calcium or folate for that reason that we were talking about today, or other nutrients, he's not going to grow. Like if there is not enough protein or calcium to grow bones and all the other supporting nutrients, he's not going to grow no matter what genes say. It's just not going to happen. The thing is, you don't know how the kid is supposed to be, what kind of potential he has. And you're never going to know if you don't give the essential nutrients to make it happen. Not just nutrients, of course, the whole environment. We gotta give the best chance to kids to fulfill their potential, and giving them adequate nutrition is a huge part of it. On a physical level, like you're not gonna give building material to your kid. The kid not gonna build himself or herself out of nothing. Life just doesn't work that way. So that's why nutrition is so crucial, especially during those years when kids are developing and maturing. And that's basically sets the stage for the rest of their lives. Now, some things can be improved, but some aren't. That's just the sad truth of that. And as adults, we also don't know how we could be if we got a little bit more support, care, and better nutrition, right? Right now, nutrition is developing really fast and we have much more knowledge than we used to have. And so our kids will be in a better place after, we establish proper education and food system that actually supports our best health, our best wellness and well-being. But yeah, our kids, future generations, they're going to be in much better place to become geniuses. Because we will have more knowledge. Anyhow, folate, why it's important? Well, folate is involved in cell division and DNA replication, heavily involved, let me tell you that. So what it means is our cells divide, replicate, exchange, being rebuilt from scratch every single day. Like, it doesn't matter how old you are, at what stage of development you are right now, our cells divide and replicate their DNA every single time, every single day, every single moment. Our immune system needs to create certain cells, certain proteins, and for that, it needs folate. And for that, to function properly, our immune system, it needs folate. And so do all of our other systems when they need to create new cells or create some substances. Folate might be involved to one degree, to lesser or to bigger degree. Then also a folate is heavily involved in producing neurotransmitters in our brain. What it means is basically every time our cells and nerve cells want to communicate, want to send signals to each other, they need folate for that. And also to form memories and to learn, we also need folate for that. And also understand, take a note how important it can be for your kid to get all the folate they need for that. But then also folate, for example, let me read you something here. If you feel like your mind is often stuck on something, like it's kind of like sticky, going through the same thought patterns or emotional patterns over and over again, folate can be involved in de-sticking it and making you more flexible. Again, maybe you would feel on a regular basis angry, depressed, or anxious. Folate, or the lack of, might be involved in that too. Or maybe you seem to have a lot of allergies that might be appearing just now all of a sudden. The lack of folate might be involved in that too. Maybe you have trouble sleeping or concentrating. Folate might be involved in that too. Also, guys, very often these days I hear about problems with either histamine or homocysteine in people's bodies, and that can potentially set them off for heart disease or cancers or just a lot of allergies and autoimmune conditions. So folate is involved in the process of clearing that out of our system. So you need folate for that too. Besides that, let me look at a few other things. So psychological function of folate, we touched upon this a little bit. Folate is utilized, as we said, by nerve cells to produce molecules, neurotransmitters that enable communication between our cells. Folate deficiency may reduce the ability of nerve cells to send signals to one another. The deficiency in folate is associated with mild cognitive impairment, including memory loss, and changes in mood that increase the likelihood of mild clinical depression. Also, Parkinson's disease, Alzheimer's, also lack of folate can contribute to that too. What else? I mentioned immune system. For pregnant women, it's crucially important because to develop, when the fetus is developing, every second it needs to create some cells or to, develop one function or one tissue or one organ system or the other. And for all of that, you need folate. So we talked red blood cells need folate too. So we talked a lot about iron and red blood cells and carrying oxygen and how it contributes to creation of energy. So lack of folate might also make you tired and fatigued. And also, by the way, folate is involved in creatine creation, and creatine seems to be really important for athletic performance. That's why a lot of athletes supplement with it, because the body might not be able to create enough of it, and folate is needed to create that creatine in our body. And a lot of people are deficient in folate, even though, again, it's involved in so many functions: our memory, our mood, our cell division, DNA replication, our learning abilities, prevention of different cognitive impairing conditions, and allergies and autoimmune conditions, and energy creation. But a lot of people are deficient in it. And the reason why a lot of people are deficient in it, because folate is mostly found in three things: liver, greens, green vegetables, and legumes, peas, beans. And so a lot of people are not eating either. Chicken liver especially is high in folate, by the way, but a lot of people aren't eating livers, greens, or legumes. They just aren't, because I think those foods are not that easy to make and eat, and that's why a lot of people are deficient in them. Kids, teenagers, make your teenager eat beans, greens, and liver. Quite a hard task, except if you start early and you set the example. Then kids and teenagers are much more likely to eat livers, lentils, or beans and greens for life. So anyhow, guys, where can you find the most liver, and how do you eat it on a regular basis? So one of the richest sources is chicken liver. By the way, guys, when it comes to folate, it's a B vitamin, it's a water-soluble vitamin, so the body cannot store it for a long time. It probably can store it for a few days. So maybe if you eat a lot of chicken liver once a week, like I do, that might be enough for the whole week. Maybe depending on the amount, you might need to twice a week, right? So the body can store it for a little bit, not for a long time, though it's a water-soluble vitamin. So we need to eat it regularly. One of the best sources, as I mentioned, chicken livers. The kind of liver will deliver different amount of folate, guys. So if you are curious about specific type of liver, ask me, Angela at createyourself.today, or on any social media where you can find me, and I'll let you know like what kind of liver and how much of it you need to get all of the folate you need. By the way, in livers, guys, folate is much more stable, meaning it's not being destroyed by temperature or storage being frozen, compared to beans and greens. So chicken liver, much better chance to get all the folate you need in the most absorbable and available form. So chicken liver, just 40 grams of chicken liver will deliver to you 100% of your daily requirements. For example, yesterday I ate about 300 grams of it, or that's going to be about 7 ounces. And that's basically about 7 times the amount of chicken liver of folate I need per week. So I ate all of my folate yesterday, and I'm also gonna eat more greens and beans, and that way I'm getting all of the folate I need. Well, that's the idea, the hope, because we don't really know how much each individual body is able to absorb and metabolize. That's why it's always, in most cases, better to eat more, especially from whole foods. Like supplements might be questionable for different nutrients, but whole foods, there are rarely ever problems with too much of certain nutrient, right? So chicken liver, 40 grams, that's your daily amount. If you eat a lot of it once a week, twice a week, then you're gonna get that amount in just, 1-2 times. Cod liver. 120 grams of that cod liver that also has tons of omega-3s, tons of vitamin D and vitamin A, 120 grams of it will deliver to you 100% of your daily needs. So guys, it's not something that you would eat every day, that amount, because you can overdose on other fat-soluble vitamins. But 120 grams of canned cod liver will deliver to you 100% of your daily need for folate. Now again, pregnant women and teenagers and kids would probably need more, depending on the size of your kid and the age. But yeah, pregnant women need more, almost twice the amount. Then let's get to beans. The best, richest beans, and guys, when it comes to beans, the amount of folate you get, it varies highly, like depending on the kind of bean. And also, canned beans would have a fraction of folate that freshly cooked beans would have. Also, freezing or cooking your greens, for example, also will diminish, sometimes a lot, sometimes not so much, the amount of folate. In liver, folate, again, is much more stable. But anyhow, just understand that freezing, canning, cooking diminishes folate, and also storing for a long time. So that's why also, for example, cooking fresh is always the best. So let's get back to our beans. Black beans, 100 grams of dried black beans. That's about half a cup of dried black beans will deliver to you 100% of folate. Kidney beans, the same amount. It's when they, dried and then freshly cooked, 100% in half a cup of dried black beans and kidney beans. Black eye beans, even richer. I think they're like the richest in folate. So 80 grams of dried beans, a little bit less than half a cup. Black eye beans would deliver to you 100% of folate. Green peas, guys, green peas, 140 grams for 100% of folate. So those are the best beans and peas for folate. Black eye beans, those are the richest. Then black beans, kidney beans, and also green peas, a little bit more you'll need of that. But, black beans, kidney beans, black eye beans, half a cup of dried. That's 100% of folate. Then when it comes to greens, the richest greens are spinach. So you'll need about 240 grams of baby spinach or frozen spinach for 100% of your folate. Asparagus, fresh asparagus, about 240 grams also. Then we have Brussels and broccoli. Brussels sprouts, about 300 grams, so more. Like I can eat it in a day, not a lot of people can. Broccoli, about 350 grams. I usually eat about 400 grams of greens a day, to give you an idea. And I'm a fan of chicken liver and any kind of liver, really. I love my liver. I don't know why. I haven't always been a fan of liver, but I learned how to love it. In Southeast Asia, for example, they love making chicken liver mini barbecues. Chicken livers are small pieces, and you can easily put them on the stick and put them on your grill. And a lot of people love it like that, especially in Southeast Asia. Japan, Thailand, Malaysia, not so sure. But yeah, you can make pretty good barbecue out of your chicken livers and regular other liver too. And what else? Kale, you'll need to eat about 200 grams of fresh kale or 250 grams of Swiss chard to get your folate for a day. So let's recap a little bit. Guys, we need folate, especially pregnant women, especially growing kids and teenagers, but all of us, we need folate every single day. Again, it cannot be stored for long, but if you eat a lot of liver once a week, you can get away with much less greens and beans throughout the rest of the week. Folate needed to clear out from our system histamine, homocysteine to prevent different allergies, food sensitivities, autoimmune conditions, heart disease, some cancers. We need folate to remember, to learn. We need folate so our cells, and especially nerve cells, could send signals to each other. We need folate for every time our cells replicate themselves and replicate the DNA. We need folate for immune system, for psychological, mental health, to prevent depressions and bad moods and cognitive stickiness when you just keep thinking the same thoughts over again, not seemingly being able to get over it and move on. I'm very flexible. Like, I can be mad at you. Sometimes I can get mad at people, but I forget about it in like 30 minutes. I'm like, oh, whatever. And that's how a healthy, resilient mind works. You think about something, you make a decision how to deal with that, and then you move on. But that doesn't happen if you don't have enough folate. And if you have trouble sleeping as an adult, folate might also be an issue. And where do you find folate? Liver, beans, and greens. Those are basically the only foods, unless you supplement with that, like supplement folic acid. They do work better in some people, not so well in other people. Depends. With supplement, you are never sure. Foods always work much, much better. To hit your daily amount of folate in chicken liver, you'll just need about 40 grams of it. Or you eat a lot of chicken liver once a week, like I do. Any kind of liver will do, but different livers will have different amounts. Chicken liver is the highest in folate. Then when it comes to beans, your best friends, about half a cup of dried one. Black eye beans, black beans, kidney beans, green peas, a little bit more you'll need of green peas. Then when it comes to veggies, you have your spinach, your baby spinach, 250 grams of that. You also have your asparagus, also kale, Swiss chard, kale 200 grams, especially the dark one. Swiss chard 250 grams of fresh one. And then we have Brussels sprouts with 300 grams, broccoli with 350 grams. And remember, guys, that freezing, canning, storing your food for a long time, all of that diminishes the amount of folate you have. So the best way to get your folate in is to cook your food from fresh and eat it right then and there. So folate is one of those nutrients who is very sensitive to all sorts of cooking and storage methods. That's it for today, guys. Figure out a way for you to get your folate on a regular basis. It's your homework, like where are you gonna get it? And if you have troubles figuring out the foods that you might be eating regularly to get all the folate you need, feel free to reach out, Angela@createyoursalad.today. I'm more than happy to give you my best advice. I've researched a lot of foods and food databases. That's one of my superpowers. So let me know and we'll find that food that can fit into your eating routine. That being said, don't forget to share this episode with people who have kids, nephews, grandkids, people who are interested in learning, in realizing their potential as adults too. So share this episode also with one other person who you'd like to teach it to share it with, and to practice with. Together we learn better, we teach better, we remember better, and we are more motivated to practice it regularly. So share, learn, reach out for advice, guys. And as usual, besides eating more greens, beans, and liver, just eat better daily.